What's up? Atilius here for another exciting video on my 100-day challenge slash Pell work tips and tutorials. Today I kind of wanted to go over some heavy mechanics with you guys. I reached out to a Duke in my local kingdom, Duke Sean. If you haven't heard of him, then that's probably pretty crazy because he's pretty renowned around the world. He goes around and teaches clinics and stuff like that. And he sent me some stuff to read about how he does Pell work and how he trains Pell work. We're not going to go into all of it just because it's his and I don't want to take away from that. But there's one thing that he brought up in his forms is about hip mechanics and how to start a shot. And as a personal trainer and somebody who went to school for exercise science and all of that, it really actually resonated with me significantly, mostly because I know that there's a lot of injuries in our sport, and specifically in the shoulder, because of poor technique. And 95% of the shots that you guys see, or especially beginners throw, is literally from the shoulder. There is no hip mechanics, no nothing. Like it's the starting and stopping from the shoulder joint. And when it comes to the shoulder, all that's really holding it in is a bunch of muscle tissue. It's like half a ball and socket. So like I don't know if the camera's going to be picking up very good or not, but so if this is the shoulder part that comes off from your neck, your trapezius, and then into your shoulder, it's literally shaped like this. And then if this was the arm portion, where going into your bicep, it's just a small lip that holds it in there, and it pivots up and down, left and right, you know what I mean? And it's literally just sits in there very, very loosely, and then around it you have a bunch of muscle tissue that holds it in place or holds it in there. And if you overclock those muscles, obviously that's why your shoulder starts to hurt, and why a lot of people end up ending their SCA careers is because of shoulder surgery and so on and so forth, and overusing it. And he goes in a little bit of detail on starting and stopping. Starting a shot is the hardest part of throwing a shot. It's the slowest point. It's the generation of that momentum, moving it forward. And he describes it like a light switch. It takes more energy to turn on a light switch than to leave the light switch running. Same thing with your car. It takes a lot more gas to start your car than it does to keep your car running. And it's the same thing with your shoulder. It takes a lot more energy, a lot more muscle to get it moving and then to fire the shot. And so moving into it, what you do and what he explains for people to do is start in the hips, right? Now, that doesn't mean swing from your shoulder and your hips at the same time, because then you're going to develop momentum, and it's better that way because it's not solely on your shoulder, but it should start in your hips, literally. So if you take your stance, shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent, toes pointed towards your opponent, and your knees following in line with your toes, whichever. So if your back foot is pointed out, your back knee needs to point out with it. Okay, and from there, when you start turning your hips, guess what's happening with your stick? If you're watching the video, it's literally beginning to move. And so as soon as it moves off your shoulder, you just throw it forward, and that takes it out of your shoulder and puts it inside your hips. Now, your hips are literally the powerhouse of the body. Your glutes, your quadriceps, your hamstrings, and all those muscles around there are literally the strongest muscles in your body. That's why you see people that can squat incredible amounts of weight. They are designed to do exactly this, what you're doing. You're going to have a lot more power come from there, and a lot more speed from your shots from your hips. Your shoulder is literally just the midway between. It's what helps aim the shot to land where you want it to. Okay? There's literally no reason. I mean, there is some reason, obviously, and you're going to be using your shoulder muscle as you flow through the shot, but every shot you throw should literally start with your hips, right? You can see my stick moving, right? And so as you're doing your Pell work, what I would recommend doing is kind of feel it, right? And you're gonna have to train yourself to not move that shield, because what's gonna happen is you might start doing this, right? And that's not a good thing. So you need to train your body to disconnect your shield shoulder from your hips, okay? And that takes a lot of time. I still do it sometimes, occasionally. However, moving forward, right, you can feel it when your hips move forward. The stick naturally just wants to move with your hips, right? So to do that, the basic flat snap principle, keep your basket as close to your head as you can. Duke Timothy from the East Coast, I don't know exactly which kingdom he's from, he talks about that a lot, is keeping that basket close to your helmet, right, as you're throwing. And then as you release it, right, you're going to block all those shots coming for that bicep, versus if you just throw to the outside this way, right, people can blast this bicep. So from the hips, starting with the hips, twist into it, and then naturally it'll just come forward. You'll feel it. You'll feel your arm want to keep going. And when you feel that to keep going, when you feel that arm wanting to move off your shoulder, you just let it happen, okay? Take it nice and slow, super easy, super chill shots, and it's going to take it out of your shoulder. Me specifically, I know after my first 100-day Pell challenge, my shoulder was killing me, and it's been killing me for a lot of practices, and especially like at Stray in my previous videos, you've heard me talk. I need to let my shoulder rest before I got back into fighting for about a week. And so this is going to be a fundamental game changer for me, because I know that I had hip mechanics, but I was still trying to throw from the shoulder and just twist my hips with it, which helps, but it's not the key principle that we're going for. So tonight's Pell practice is going to be simply based on that. I'll probably just throw 10 flat snaps, 10 offsides, 10 legs. Well, I can't really throw 10 legs, but I mean, I can, but you know, so on and so forth. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be working on for the next little bit, is just to make sure that I got those hip mechanics down packed. Get that muscle memory down packed. Pell work is literally tens of thousands of shots you're going to be throwing, and this stuff, the small things like keeping your hips in line and keeping your hips moving, not throwing from the shoulder, is all going to be fundamental things to keep you going in the SCA. And that's my goal, is to keep going in the SCA, because I don't want to be the guy that needs to have a shoulder surgery or rehab or physical therapy or anything like that for my shoulder. So I want to keep doing this for as long as I can. And this little detail of creating that motion from your hips is what's going to keep my shoulders safe. So without further ado, I appreciate you guys looking into it. I will keep posting stuff like this as I learn. And yeah, this stuff is the bread and butter of making great fighters. As simple as it seems, you know, you got to do this stuff. So, and I've got to do it too. So here we go. Thanks guys. from there, I'm going to do some 2-shot combos with those, basically with a flat snap, offside flat snap, or a wrap, or maybe an offside leg. But we'll see how it goes. Still nice and slow, making sure those hips are moving. That nice slow momentum is what's going to generate that muscle memory that we're all going for. So make sure you're utilizing it non-stop. I also like to come into a block after every shot, just so it gives you that little bit of extra defense, especially during Pell work. It's easy to get into a routine of not having somebody fire back at you, but firing and then going into a block, which you see me do all the time, will help you develop that skill to fire from this position. So. Now it's a 4-part drill, which there's another video you can find in my playlist if you want to know more about the 4-part drill. So pretty much what we're doing, I don't know what count I was on. I had an idea in my head, but then I kind of forgot about it. So once you do your basic warm-up, you can do the 1 through 6 drill, nice and slow. Make sure that you're using your hips every shot. Go into 10, 2 or 3 shot combos. So that's 3 shots equals 1 round. And then if you do the 1 through 6 drill and then you do that, you're probably at well over 100 shots for your 100-day Pell challenge if you're doing it, which I would also suggest. So, and there is a link in the description of most of my videos. There'll probably be one in this one when I get done editing it. So anyway, we're going to start over again just because I lost count, right? So 1, 2, So it's probably like 11 or 12, I don't know. Again, I lost count, so I started recounting at like 5, I think. So that was 10, so a total of 20 more shots. So not that it matters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to go from an offside headshot to a wrap. We're going to do that 10 times. And then we're probably going to call this video good. So, got an early morning tomorrow, and I just wanted to get my Pell work in and give you guys some tips of something I learned today. So, offside. So, offside you can cover house, or you can just fire it right off the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Now I guess I'm going to work on one more. I don't throw a lot of wraps for the head, so I need to utilize that a little bit more. We're going to go flat snap, tent, wrap. So flat snap, wrap, flat snap, wrap, flat snap, wrap. Ooh. I definitely felt that one in my shoulder. So that tells me I need to pay attention a little bit closer to that wrap. Make sure it's not overclocking in the shoulder. Could mean I'm throwing it a little excessively wide. Need to tuck it back in. So six, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, on those wraps, make sure you're not fully locking your elbow out. You can tear your bicep really easily. I know a couple of fighters that have done that. With any shot you throw, never lock that elbow out because it just puts a lot of excess pressure on the elbow joint, plus your bicep, and you can really mess stuff up in there. And all this stuff, I'm not trying to scare anybody by telling you guys this. It's more for your information to keep yourself safe and keep other people safe. So if you see some of these things, you can let people know that, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that, or help everybody stay in the SCA for a lot longer, play safe, play better. Plus, the second most important thing is these small tips are going to make you a better fighter. This is what's going to separate you from everybody that doesn't do Pell work. And these are the things that when you're doing Pell work that you need to be focusing on. The proper mechanics, the proper technique, how you're moving, your footwork. Every little thing like this can help you become a better fighter. And that's what you should be focusing on, not just coming in, smacking the Pell 100 times, and then moving forward. Some days are going to be like that, obviously, but not every day. You should always try to funnel in that motivation on what you need to work on. And working on it, the Pell will help you change that, and then you try to practice. And what worked and didn't work to practice, then you come back to the Pell and try it this way. And from there, you're going to go to tournaments and yada, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So you guys already know that. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. So hopefully you found this video constructive, and I hope it helps you guys out, because I know just that little tidbit on keeping your stick on your shoulder and moving your hips is what's going to generate that force and what's going to drive that thing home. And it's what's going to give you that power, and it's not going to be from your shoulder muscle. So your hips are 10 times stronger, I promise you. Your shots are going to be 10 times faster, and they're going to be 10 times harder. So make sure you throw from the hips. All right. Anyway, thanks, guys. I hope you guys liked it. Again, if you need anything, ask me questions, look them up, drop a comment, give me a like, share the video if you want to, so on and so forth. I will see you guys on the next one.